Moving on to Sunday's action, and it's back to game time for Canada, of course, up against Croatia in what John Herdman says is a defining match for the team in this World Cup. Obviously, the whole naked Herdman F Croatia gate continues somewhat. It's all kind of good natured, really. I think I know Croatia have been responding to it, but Herdman's quotes today I thought were really good. He made light of it. He goes, "My wife's coming after you guys. She wishes she had that guy. I've got a bit more of a belly than that. I've been eating too much." He also alluded to getting caught up in the moment, perhaps a learning moment for him. He says, this being his first World Cup, men's World Cup, I should just clarify before people jump all over us for that.
Hmm.
Um, he seemed relaxed today. I thought, Sarah. Earlier this tournament, I sensed a bit of tension behind John Herdman compared to what we used to, and that's understandable. But today he seemed back to the old Herdman, smiling, charismatic, enjoying himself. Do you get that?
Yeah, he also said that he's like, you know what, back at camp, we're feeling light and bright. Like it does seem like he's giving off like a really good impression, or maybe it's the truth that yeah, he's feeling good. The players are feeling good. They're excited, but yeah, they're not bringing any of that extra drama from the Belgian game or any of that negativity or doubt. And I honestly think like it came off really good, and it makes me as a Canadian feel really good about this game tomorrow because the attitude seems to be there.
But are you feeling confident again? Obviously, after that Belgium match, we all felt great, but then we had a few days to think about it and overthink about it.
Yeah.
Where are you
No,
at right now?
I'm pretty confident. I think Canada can get a result against Croatia. Listen, what they did against Belgium was, we followed this team for quite a while and throughout qualifying, but it was still a little bit surprising to see how they attacked one of the best teams in the world. We can say what we want about Belgium being old and being out of form. They still possess world class players, and Canada were able to nullify that threat for most of the game. And now going up against Croatia, from what we've seen in Croatia's first match, Canada probably should be a bit better than them, considering what we saw so far. When it comes to what happened with Herdman and what he's saying, we mentioned this, we talk about it so much. I enjoy it, but now you got to back it up. Especially the players. It's on the players. We heard from Croatia in the press conference. Zlatko Dalic, the manager for Croatia, saying, "Listen, you have to respect us. We're the 2018 finalists." And then Perisic turns and like, I agree with him. I can't wait for this game to start. So they need to understand, and I'm sure that they do, that Croatia is going to come out 100% and more motivated probably than ever to really show Canada, listen, you got to show us some respect. But with that said, I have a lot of confidence in Canada heading into this match.
You know what I found interesting about Herdman's comments? He backtracked a little bit for the first time today, where he said it was a learning lesson, right? He said this could be something. It's my first World Cup. This could be something that I have to learn and get better from. Well, do you think if the match goes wrong and Canada, let's say hypothetically, they lose in emphatic style, do you think that tarnishes his value a little bit on the world stage? Because this is a big moment for him. I think we
Mhm.
need to remember that as much as we know what he's accomplished, from those looking from the outside, do you think that he might have put some of his value and some of his legacy on the line here?
It's a good question. I think we've built this impossible character, really, us being the media and the Canadian soccer culture. We put this guy on this pedestal. He can do no wrong. He is the perfect manager, and no one's perfect, right? And what we forget is that John Herdman's also pretty emotional. You see him post match in press conferences, right? He's a different John compared to pre match press conferences, right? He takes that game and he's not the perfect human being because none of us are, right? He lets it affect him. So maybe we're seeing that the human side. Maybe it's a good thing, Mikey. Maybe we're seeing the human side of him, which makes him even more appealing. He's not this waxwork, this robot who's just this meticulous preparer for games and tactician who does no wrong. He's got a little bit of a edge to him. I think that's maybe makes him more likable. But I know what you're saying. It's a good point. Do you foresee many changes to the 11? I know the usual suspects are all going through their first 11s for this match, and they're all different. Everyone's got a different opinion. What do you think you'll see?
Well, I think in a World Cup, especially when the days are so condensed, and then you have guys that haven't been playing football consistently throughout the year, specifically for a team like Canada. I think the natural inclination would be, yeah, you know what? You should probably rotate your squad a little bit, right? But if you look at the way that they started that match against Belgium, and knowing that Croatia are, in a way, similar to Belgium, how do you rotate your squad? Do you not try and start the match, in a similar way? But at the same time, you have guys like Sam Adekugbe, who has been starting for this team throughout World Cup qualifying, has been one of the best stories. And can you really sit him on the bench again? I'm interested to find out. But one thing I'll know, and I'll be 100% positive about this, is John Herdman will have some sort of trick up his sleeve.
Always happens. Yeah, exactly. Maybe it'll be an Ismail Kone in that 11. Uh, I don't think it will be myself. I know people are calling for that, and it's inevitable at some point. It's going to happen. When the Tiba came off last game, I wrote about this. He was not just passing him the midfield spot; he was passing him the torch in some ways. But it might be a bit too soon for him. I don't know, Albert. I mean, Atiba came off in the 55th, right? I think it's 55th or 65th. I believe it
About
was.
60. About
Or
60.
60
Yeah.
was it? Yeah, right. So it didn't play a full 90. If you're rotating and you try and manage minutes, then that's what you do, right, with Atiba. So I can't imagine him not starting tomorrow.
Yeah, I can see Atiba starting. I think it's going to be very similar. I mean, my two expectations is that maybe Junior Hoylett and Richie Larea make way for Adekugbe and Kyle Larin. What we saw with Morocco and Croatia, Morocco and Croatia is Morocco had a lot of success on the flanks, particularly on that right side with Hakimi and Hakim Ziyech. And Canada can do the same on the flanks. They're very good there with Buchanan and maybe Alistair Johnson on that right side. It's going to be incredibly difficult to take the ball away from Croatia's midfield. So I think they're going to have to use the flanks as much as possible and hopefully pack that midfield on defense. And that's where I see Kyle Larin coming in, staying up top, and then Jonathan David dropping slightly into the midfield to help manage with the amount of possession that Croatia is going to have. So I see a couple of changes, but we've seen this before. You can't predict John Herdman's starting 11.
Yeah, David ran, I think, almost 10 kilometers actually in his stint. He dropped so deep, he's all over the field there. Sarah, though, last word for you, though. Obviously, it's a massive match, defining match in this World Cup for Canada, obviously. What are your expectations?
I am starting to think, I mean, we've overthought this game and this group of players so much, but I'm really starting to think that Canada can actually beat Croatia. And now I'm really thinking that Morocco is going to be the biggest hurdle, especially after seeing the Belgium side that we saw.
Wait, Sarah, can you repeat that one more time? That was just music to my ears. Sarah Pararia coming around on the Canadian
Coming
men's
around.
national team.
Well, after seeing Morocco and Croatia in the first match as well, Croatia looked a little tired and they're also older. We knew that, right? So Canada being faster for sure, like use that to their advantage. And if they can just score one, like that's my only concern. We were really struggling with that in the match against Belgium. That's why I agree with Albert. I think Kyle Larin should be starting in this match, but like who knows with John Herdman, sorry. But I do think that Canada can definitely get a point here. And it'll keep the group open, right? Because if Canada even just tie Croatia and Morocco are already tied. We'll see what happens with Morocco and Belgium. But this might even lead to another, match day 3 and it all comes down. But Canada can get a point tomorrow.
Ooh.
All I hope is that first goal, which is going to be such an iconic goal, and we'll see it the rest of our lives, it'll be imprinted in our memories. They'll make, awful government PSAs about it, that kind of stuff. I hope it's the most unsexy name on the team that scores it. Someone like, I don't know, like Liam Fraser comes on the bench and does it or something.
Hey, come on, James.
And that's nothing against Liam Fraser. But
Yeah.
a guy that you're not thinking is going to play too many minutes in the World Cup comes
That's what I
off
was
the
thinking.
bench.
Richie Larea the
Brilliant.
other day could have had that opportunity. Who would have had
Yeah.
Richie Larea scoring the first ever goal for
What
Canada?
if there is no goal?
What if there's no goal?
What
we
if
wrap
there's
this
no
up?
goal?
Can we wrap
It's
this
hard
up?
to imagine based on what we've seen and the quality that they do have in attack.
Then I'm
They
going to
have
end
to
up in jail
score.
because every time it's mentioned, I'm going to punch someone. Because I'm so bored of that anyway. Happening even before they qualify for this World Cup, and people would make fun of the '86 team, and it's so unfair, right? They qualified for a World Cup in '86, different era, different times entirely, That
They
team
still
was
had
great.
unattached
They deserved
FC
that. I
playing
know,
for that
exactly,
team.
right? But for most of Canada, it's like that never happened, right?
Right.
So if they don't score another goal this World Cup, I don't care. But I will punch you in the head if I hear anyone talk about it.
I
Okay?
want to be
Just
there for
putting it
that.
out there.
I gotta see that. Can we quickly just talk about best case scenario for Canada? So
6-0.
obviously them beating Croatia, but I think Belgium beating Morocco would make the most sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want Morocco getting those points.
Yeah.
Also, Kevin De Bruyne came out and said that Belgium aren't winning the World Cup. They're too old.
I
Yeah.
was so
So
happy to see
I hope
that.
Whoa. He said that?
That's what
he
Canada does
said
to
that.
you.
Kevin.
You play
Yeah, there you
Canada,
go.
that's what
But no,
happens.
but it's interesting. That's the mentality they have. I wonder. Look, I'm curious about that match as well. But I think Albert's right. Morocco losing, I think, to Belgium because I can't see Belgium. But I just can't see Belgium getting that many points against Croatia either. So, but I also don't know. I feel like Morocco's the team to beat right now.
This is just going to be another wide open group.
Yeah, it really is, yeah. And Morocco looked great in that first game. Maybe they'll be terrible this game. It's the way the World Cup's going so far. But we'll know. It's at 8 p.m. 8 a.m. is the Belgium-Morocco game, I believe, tomorrow, isn't it?
I believe.
And then, of course,
Yes,
Canada at
correct.
11. And then the biggie for the rest of the world is Spain, Germany, and Sarah, of course, in the afternoon at 2 p.m. All right, well, that's Room 442. We will return tomorrow and tell you just what happened in another stadium, which I can't remember which one it is, in Doha. It's in Canada and Croatia. Hope you enjoyed that, everyone.